Welcome to another video from Auto Garage Life, and thank you for clicking on this video as opposed to the many thousands of Mustang videos that are already out there. But this one I'm hoping to address an issue that is common with the convertible Mustangs. This is for the S197, but the same thing will apply to SN95 and even S550 models, I expect. So, do you have a problem with your convertible pump? Does it make too much noise? Is it too slow to go up or to go down? If so, you could do well with checking the fluid in the reservoir. And you can do this yourself. It's an easy job to try at home. You just need a couple of tools. And if you've got a bit of space indoors like me, you can do it in the winter time as well. So I've had this car not in storage over the winter months, but I haven't used the convertible top over the winter months. It's making a little bit of noise, more so than it would normally. So let's get straight into it and we'll show you how to check and refill the fluid in the reservoir for the convertible top. Let's go. Alright, back seats out. This is pretty easy. And this is pretty easy when you've got a convertible because it's so much room. There's a clip here and a clip here. There you go, there's one, there's two. And these just pull out, no problem. No tools required for that part. Whoops! Apart from me nearly killing myself. And to get the backs rest out, it's a 13mm socket and there's two bolts, one on each side. There's the first one and the second one, same place. And there's two kind of slotted clips that are in here and here, and you just pull this seat up once you've got these two bolts out. You're good to go. Alright, once you've got the seats out, you're left with this. If you lift this up, you shall see the reservoir and pump for the convertible top. Now you can see on mine, if you can make that out, there's a little plus sign, and the fluid level is pretty much on the plus sign. Hard to make out on camera. You see it better there, see that? And there's a fill plug right there, see it? So we're going to get this out. It's just held in by kind of rubber grommets. See those two big black bits there? That one there. And that one, you can shift that along and pop this canister out and it becomes a little bit more easy to work with. So we'll go for that. Pleased to say though, my previous repair in the convertible tops worked because there's no water or dampness in here whatsoever. That's pretty good. Right, so with this, we shall shimmy across this first rubber grommet. And that should give that a bit of leeway, and we can push this one out. Come on. It will come. Yeah. That just lets you see the pump a little bit better. So mine's got quite a bit of fluid in it actually. Let's just check if that level goes down okay. Mine's got quite a lot of fluid there. There's no leaks or anything. Not from here. Nothing visible certainly. I wonder if this is just the top not seating properly when it goes down actually, as opposed to the fluid. But anyway, we're here now, so we might as well do this and see what we're dealing with here in terms of the fluids. It could be ancient fluid that's in there as well. Okay, so we've got some rags down there, and we'll just see what colour this fluid actually is. So it's pretty close to the actual fill hole in terms of the level. This is a better design than the old SN95s because this is had a rubber plug in here. It was pretty difficult to get out, whereas this one is a proper screw with an Allen head, like so. I'll come round and show you this in a second, but it's as black as oil. It really isn't the best looking stuff at all. So I'm going to let that drain out because that is disgusting. There you go, you see that? Get my hand out the light, that's better. So, probably, originally this fluid might have been green in colour. But it does say to use, tells you on it actually, It should tell you on it Dextron 3 or something like that, Mercon 5 I think it is. I'll check in a minute. I've got new fluid over there. That doesn't look the nicest. We're going to tip it all out anyway and just get rid of it because that's pretty vile. So I'm going to tip out as much as I can and then replace it with some newer fluid. And then we'll run a few cycles, try and bleed it a little bit, and we'll see if that helps put the top back down to where it should be. Yeah, pretty much hazard a guess this fluid's probably never been changed in the whole life of the car. Okay, so I managed to get some into this bowl. That is what was in the pump. God knows what colour that actually started its life as, but it ain't supposed to look like that, that's for certain. And that is obviously the colour that we're putting in. So I've got replacement stuff. This is the equivalent of Mercon 5, Mercon V, whatever you call it, you can get in the UK. I've checked this one out. It's automatic transmission power steering fluid for Ford automatic transmissions, but it is Mercon 5 specified, so we'll put some of that into here, and I'm going to syringe it back into the reservoir and see how we get on, and I'll run the cycle a few times on the top to bleed it a little bit. To be honest, looking at this now, I'm actually thinking I should be bleeding the hydraulic struts as well. I don't have time for that this morning. I'm needing to just get the car back on the road for today. So for now, I'll replace some of the fluid in the reservoir, run it, and if it goes back to the seated position, I'll leave the hydraulic struts for another day because it is still working. It's just not working as well as it should. Right, so that's the colour of the new fluid. I have seen it. I've got other power steering fluid that I've had in green. I suspect that could have been the colour that was in the car originally, but this is what I can get hold of locally for today, and this is meeting the spec. So, and it does stink. If you ever mess with this stuff or done a power steering fluid change, you'll know how much this boufs. So I'm just going to put in some in a syringe, and we shall see how much we can get back into the reservoir. There we are. Your time with this bit because this will take a bit of time no matter what you do. I could get a little pump, but it's not that much fluid really, to be honest, so it's safer doing it this way for me anyway. Little bit of surgery. I can see it filling up now. It's almost at the level. In fact, I might leave it at that and put this back into its place and bleed it a few times like that, and add more fluid if I have to. This is when your pile of dirty microfiber cloths that are covered in oil come into their own, because I never fling anything out. I've got loads of these. Right, what I'll do is get this fluid out of the way in case I knock it over, and we shall get the pump roughly back into where it should be. Not forgetting to connect it again, of course. Like that. And what we'll do is we'll give it a shot. So there's a little bit of fluid leaking out of it just now. Right, let's get a close up. So, pump's roughly back where it should be. It's going to go back a bit further, doesn't really matter. As long as it's level, and you can see the fluid just kind of leaking out of it there because I've filled it right to the top. I might actually have overfilled it. So I'll take a little bit out and I'll run the top a few times and see how we get on. Okay, let's run a cycle or two, or 5, and we shall see how they go, man. Alright, so what I've just done is put the pump back into the two hangers with the rubber kind of grommet things there, and you can see there the plus sign and the fluid's just underneath the level of the plus sign. So I'm going to try it like that, and when I filled it like that, it is coming out of the hole if you take out the plug. So probably about right, I would guess. So I'm going to try it a few cycles like that now and see how it goes, because the fluid was pretty grotty. This is going to be for a later video, but this cable here, whilst I've got the back seats out, I'm just going to run it underneath this wiring harness here and out into the trunk, because this little bad boy is going to hook up to my new reversing camera. But we'll do that in a later video. Might as well do it now when everything's ready and easy to access. Okay, everything's back together. So you saw the state of the fluid that came out of that. So what I really should do now is bleed the entire system, or repeat what I've just done, emptying the cylinder out, replacing it with automatic transmission fluid until the transmission fluid comes out the same colour, basically, that you put it in as. So that's a job for another day though. I need to get this car back out on the road today because I need it. So we'll do that another time. But there's various ways to bleed the system. So it's actually quite a simple setup. You've got the pump that you saw, and you saw the 4 hydraulic lines, 2 going to that side and 2 going to this side. So there's a hydraulic cylinder there and a hydraulic cylinder and piston here. Same setup. And one of the lines pushes the cylinder up with the fluid, and one of the lines pushes the cylinder down, depending on what way you're pressing the switch. So you can disconnect those lines from the cylinder, drain the cylinder itself by unbolting it, and putting the lines into some fluid to bleed the system by moving the top up and down. Or we can do it by pouring out all the fluid each time from the reservoir tank like I showed you, refilling it, doing it again, pouring it out, refilling it, doing it again. You'll waste a lot more fluid doing it that way, but you still get the job done if you're not comfortable messing around with the cylinders on either side. But anyway, I'm going to try that again another day. For now, this top's working really well. It's silent, and well, it's not silent. It makes the normal top noise going up and down. It doesn't make any screeching noises. And the noises you might hear from this are similar to what you would get from a power steering pump when low in fluid. Same kind of thing. High kind of screeching noises and just very unpleasant to hear. So that'll do for today. I hope you've got the confidence to check that yourself after this video. And we'll continue to put stuff up on this car. I've got a couple of videos coming. I'll show you how to do the cabin filter next. That's quite an easy little job you can do yourself as well. So give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, all the usual stuff, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.